This is a little different than our country. In our country, they'd lawyer up, they'd be going to trial for 30 years. But they have no drug, they have zero drug problem. And I said, I want you to do me a favor. And we made a deal. You're killing our people. And that's going to end up in bad things for you, really bad for you. Not for you. Can't get any worse for us. And he said, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to give the same death penalty to those people that are sending fentanyl into the United States. And if you don't do that, I'm going to tariff the hell out of your shit coming into the United States. And guess what? He agreed to do it. We had an agreement, and then we had a very bad election, horrible election. Think of the difference, how different our country would be. You wouldn't have had the fentanyl problem. You really wouldn't. You wouldn't have had inflation because they did that by screwing around with my energy. We had energy at $1.84. It was $1.87. It was corrected by the federal government. I was at $1.84. We had all of these things. You wouldn't have had October 7th in Israel. All those people would be alive today. The hostages, most of whom are no longer living. Think of it. Russia would not have attacked. Ukraine wouldn't have happened. But Israel wouldn't have happened because Iran was broke. I said you can't buy any oil from Iran. Anybody that buys oil from Iran can't deal in the United States. We don't do business with you. China stopped it. I told that to President Xi. If you buy oil, they were the primary customer. If you buy 1 barrel of oil, 1 barrel from Iran, you're not doing any business with the United States. We'll go cold turkey, which some people like anyway. And you know what? They said, all right, they didn't. Nobody did. I said that to 45 different countries. They weren't selling anything. They were essentially broke. They wanted to make a deal so badly, and then we had that bad election, that horrible, disgusting, worst thing that ever happened to the country was that election. And I left, and they didn't follow up the deal that I made, and the fentanyl is now pouring into Mexico at numbers, and more people are dying, and it comes across this open border, and we're taking in more drugs, human smuggling, all women, setting records. Bring up my all-time favorite chart, if it's possible to find. Where is that all-time favorite? So the red arrow on the bottom, that's the lowest. It's done by the Border Patrol, not by me. It looks like something done by me, doesn't it? But that was my last day in office. Look at the red arrow. That was the lowest that we've ever had. Drugs, it includes drugs, but drugs, human trafficking, but mostly illegals coming into the United States of America. Look at that number, and it would have gone down. All they had to do is leave it alone, leave the people we had, Brandon Judd, all these great people. Tom Homan was consulting me, and all these great people. That's all they've done in their life, and we had it down to a science. The drugs were coming in at the slowest rate. But we had illegals almost stopped. By now they would have been literally stopped. And by the way, we want people to come into our country, but they have to come in legally. They have to come in legally. They have to show they can love our country. They have to show that they didn't murder 7 people along the way. But that's the lowest point, and I love that chart. Even if it was bad numbers, which it's not, but even if it was horrible numbers, I would love that chart so much. That chart was right over there. It never was over there, and it was never over there because I always do this toward the end of a speech, not the beginning. I looked over there at that chart, and I said, what the hell was that? Man, yeah. So that was pretty amazing, but you know, I do want to tell you one quick story. So I'm in Detroit, and Mexico's getting rather rough with us in terms of trade. And we're not going to take it. We don't have to take it. We have a good trade deal, but you know, nobody knows how to use it because they're stupid people. And Mexico is doing things that aren't good. And you know, China's using Mexico as a subchapter S corporation practically. China's putting a lot of money into. You know, they're running things pretty good, and they're going to build the largest auto plant. I was making a speech at the Detroit Economic Club. But a year and a half ago, it looked like I was going to run, and I wanted to go see an auto plant because we're getting screwed on autos. I mean, everyone's moving their plants over. Actually, Elon built a big plant in Texas, okay? We like it. right? Elon built a very big plant in Texas. And we got to give credit. We love Elon. He gave me another of the greatest. You know where he is right now? He's in another part of your state. He's now in Pennsylvania campaigning for Donald Trump because he thinks it's the single most important thing. And you know, he said something to me that was interesting, because nobody knows computers. That rocket I was telling you about, the way it laid down, he said it's all computers operating the engines. The engines are the easy part. He said the computers, it's tremendous computerization, the way it just shifted it over, so beautiful. But I said to him, what do you think about it? Because he really is watching this whole voting process. And he said, you know, computers are the greatest. He looked at some that were just shipped in, some of these vote counting computers. He knew it before it even came in the door. He looked like at the back of it. Oh, I know that one. I mean, he knows he knows this stuff better than anyone. And he actually said, and this is for the good of everybody, it's the good of mankind, essentially. If you look at France, if you look at all these, they had their mail-in voting, they all gave it up. That nobody does like we do. And Gavin Newsom, look at Gavin Newsom. So now not only is voter ID no good, if you're an official and you ask somebody for voter ID, I'd like to see your voter ID, you have committed a criminal act. Do you believe it? The mere asking, he just signed the bill. That's right, Megan, isn't it? The mere asking, this guy just signed the bill, and an official says, I'd like to see your voter ID. He's guilty of a crime. This is crazy. And there's only one reason they want to do that, because they want to cheat. But Elon Musk said to me, I hope I'm allowed to say this. I think I am, because one thing, he's out there. He's a guy, he just wants the truth. He's an incredible guy. And he said, computers aren't meant for this kind of stuff. He said, there's only one thing you can do. He's the most sophisticated guy in the world when it comes to computerization. He said, the only thing you can do is paper ballots, same-day voting. You know, paper is very sophisticated. Watermark. It's very sophisticated. Paper ballots, voter ID, one-day voting, not 10 days where you say, oh, let's move these boxes from that room to this room because we're going to fix the air conditioning. And then the boxes never get put back, and you say, what happened to those boxes? Oh, no, one-day voting. He said, and he said also proof of citizenship. You know, it would be nice. Very simple. And you'll have your answer as to who won and who lost by 10 o'clock in the evening. Nobody's going to dispute. France had it, 37 million votes, and we knew who won and who lost at 9:30 in the evening. That's the time that they said. Do you know that I'm hearing that stories that they may take 12 days extra to count the ballots? And bad things happen when you do that, although today we won a very good case in Georgia, where the judge ruled that no, they're not allowed to have unlimited extensions for the votes to come in. That's what I was. We have unlimited extensions. We just found 100,000 votes just poured in from the. Now we got to straighten out our. You know, it won't affect me after this. We have to do we have to win the old-fashioned way and then fix it. But we have to fix it. We can't allow this to happen. And remember, the states are essentially an agent, if I can use that term, but they're an agent of the federal government. The states are doing the collecting, so to speak. And they have to take their orders from the federal government. And how can you do this where they say it's going to take days long? You have all this equipment. The other thing is, if you go to a paper system, it'll cost you 8% of what all of this fancy machinery costs. But Elon said that there is no computer in the world that can't be broken into very easily by somebody that's computer smart. I have a son at home, Barron. I said, people love Barron. They love Barron. They love Barron. I say, Barron, you're always on your computer. I think you have to learn it at a young age, actually. Barron, you're always on your computer. You gotta stop. You gotta do other things. Oh, yes, Dad. Yes, Dad. Sure. Sure, Dad. Don't be wise. Look, I'm gonna turn this thing off. Okay, Dad. Try it. So I turn it off, Dad. I turn it off. It's locked. It's done. I have a number on it. He calls me 45. Come here, Dad. Take a look. No, these kids are genius, I'm telling you. He's a wise guy, smart one. And do I have good kids? I have to just... Are my kids here? Where are my kids? They're around here. They're around here. Get them out here. I think I want to bring them up. 4 years. They've been with us, and Barron's home, and he's watching this. He's watching. He's a little young. He's watching. They love Barron, huh? We love Barron. And Ivanka's great. She watches. She loves this whole thing. She loves it. She loves you. She loves it. She loves the whole thing. But I just thought, you know, it's sad because we've been doing this for 9 years. We've had hundreds of rallies, hundreds. Actually, numbers that are not even conceivable. I've heard 800, 900, I don't know, but we don't even count them. But and they're all like this. They're all these magnificent, magnificent rallies. And this is the last one I'm going to have here. And I have one left, the whole thing. And remember, the rallies are the most exciting thing. There'll never be rallies like this, you know? You're going to have some leading candidate come in 4 years, and honestly, if they're successful, they'll have 300 or 400 people in a ballroom someplace. This is never going to happen again. It happens every single time. And it's never happened in the world. There's never been. This is a movement that's never happened, and it's going to be a movement that's going to save our country. It's going to be a movement that's going to save... But it's sad in terms of we'll never have this, but we'll have other get-togethers. And in a way, all what we're doing, all these years of work, and, you know, we started off with that very bad situation 4 years ago, and it was so sickening to wait 4 years. And if I didn't do so well, I did so much better the second time than the first. I wouldn't have done this if I took in less votes. We took in close to 12 million more votes. I mean, Barack Hussein Obama, he didn't do that. He got far less votes the second time, and he won. And he's a major divider. I watched him the other night. I mean, he's a very divisive guy. I've always said that. He is a very divisive guy. And his wife, I've always been so nice. Ooh, she was hitting me. She was hitting me, Michelle. She was hitting me. That wasn't nice. I've always been nice, but they're dividers, I'll tell you right now. We're not going to stand. Dividers are no good. He's a highly overrated man, I'm telling you that. But he's a divider. I watched him with his crap where he's trying to get her in. He's the one that pushed her in the first place, and look what happens. I mean, I hope it happens, because if it doesn't happen, this country's in big trouble. But we've been doing this now for 9 years, and we had a great first term. We rebuilt our military. We cut taxes more than any president in history, including Ronald Reagan, who did a big tax cut. We cut more regulations. We developed an open Space Force through the Congress, and I think that's going to go down. First time in 82 years that last one was the Air Force. We did that. I mean, think of all the different things that we did. We were respected all over the world. China respected us. Everybody respected us. There was no laughing at your leader. They came up with all these hoaxes, Adam Schiff and all this scum that we have in this country. They're scum. And they knew it was a hoax. And they tried to put this guy who didn't know anything about Russia, they tried to put him in jail, Adam Schiff, conceived of the story. Think of it. Adam Shifty Schiff, one of the truly unattractive people. I call him Watermelon Head. He's got the largest head and the smallest neck. He's got a neck that's about 4 inches around. He's got a watermelon on top of it. But he's not a stupid person, but he's an evil kind of person. And he's likely going to be a senator, unfortunately. But I mean, this scum is going to be a senator. So their movement carries on, but our movement carries on too. As long as ours carries on. No, he's got the smallest neck I've ever seen. Do you think he can play football for the Pittsburgh Steelers? I don't think so. One shot, and there goes the whole thing would fall apart. One little shot. One tiny tap like that, boom, falls off. No, but bad. But think of how bad this is. I don't want to put him on the spot, but this kid went through hell on a story that they knew was made up. Russia, Russia, Russia hoax. And I saw Schiff come out of an intelligence meeting or something. He's not supposed to even do this, but he goes out in this press and he says, Donald Trump Jr. will go to jail for what he's done with Russia. Right? And I said, whoa. I said, what's this all about? So I called him up. I said, Don, what's going on? I said, Dad, I don't know anything about Russia. He didn't do anything. He went before grand juries. He went before... What they did to this guy was... And you know what? I think he became tougher because of maybe too tough. I think he's too tough, Sarah. I don't like it. He's too tough. They've made my son too tough, Mike. But he's a great guy, and he's a good person, and they put him through hell. But think of it. What person, and Hillary was in the act, they spied on my campaign. It's now proven. Spied on my campaign. The Russia, Russia, Russia thing with Mueller, you saw Mueller's performance in Congress, right? He didn't know anything. We were totally exonerated. But for 2 years, this guy went through hell. He went through hell. He had nothing to do with Russia. He didn't know anything about it. They went through millions of phone calls. They didn't find one phone call to Russia. It was a hoax. But think about how bad you have to be. We're going to put the son of the President of the United States in prison for what he's done with Russia. And he knows it was a hoax because he conceived of the hoax along with Crooked Hillary and the rest of them. And Obama, in my opinion. No, but think of it. He conceived of a hoax, and he wants my son to go to prison. That is human scum, I'm sorry. And he'll probably go on to be a senator, and that's okay, because we have blocked them. Everything we've done, we've won against, but they are bad people. You know, if they put that genius toward making our country great, boy, would we have fun. We would have fun together. But I don't know if they're capable of doing that. It'd be great if we could bring everybody together. The time we came together is just previous to COVID. We're the most successful country ever in history. We were doubling up in China. They were paying us billions of dollars. No other president took in anything. And you know what was happening? Everybody had jobs. African American, Asian American, everybody. Asian, the Hispanics. Look at me with Hispanics. Hispanics, they remember that period 4 years, 5 years ago. But everybody was successful. Men, women, people that went to MIT, Harvard, and Wharton, and people that didn't have a degree. Everybody was doing better than they've ever done before. People that never graduated from high school. And I'll tell you what was happening is I was getting calls from people that I would say are the radical left, but people that were definitely very far left, and people wanted to start meeting. There was a whole thing. This country was coming together, and then we got hit with something that nobody knew what the hell it was, although I did say it was from the Wuhan lab. I was right about that. And bad things happened, and we actually did a great job. Never got the credit for that. We got the credit for what we did with the economy. for what we did. We rebuilt the entire U.S. military, and we knocked the hell out of ISIS. It took them, they were fighting ISIS for 18 years. It took me 4 weeks to get rid of them, right? 4 weeks. So, 4 weeks to get rid of them. But I will tell you, and I just say this because so many people say, is there any way to unify the country? And I used to sort of say, no, look, we want to have walls, we want to have borders, and they don't. I think it has to just be explained. I think that's an easy one. They want the men and women sport things. You know, I've been a politician for now, I can't believe I say that, but 9 years. I've had a lot of people come up and say, well, what about taxes? What about this? Nobody's ever said, sir, it's really important to allow men to play in women's sports. I've never had anybody say it. Nobody's come up to me and said, you know, the transgender thing, sir, it's very important to my family that you get that. I mean, these things are crazy. And yet on television, that's all they talk about. That's all they talk about. But we're going to turn this country. The bottom line is, it was really starting to come together. Then we got hit. We got to fix that. Think of it. And when I turned it back over, the stock market was higher than it was just previous to COVID coming in. Think of it. Amazing. We handed them something beautiful, and they blew it. They blew it right out the window. It's terrible. They blew it, and now we're going to end up in a depression, frankly, if you look at the numbers that we are going to present in a second. But I just want to thank my kids because they are great kids, and they have been with me from the beginning. They've been with me right from the beginning. And I thought I should do that because we go to Michigan tonight, and we do one final. We'll do 4 tonight, but we go to Michigan, and I really thought I should recognize my children. So this is the second to last one. That's sad, because we've been together. I mean, look at these people, the front row Joes, the North Carolina women, the whole thing. We have people that have come to hundreds of the rallies, and we all love it. And you know, they all love the country. Everyone they don't come to our rallies if they don't love the country, just because they wouldn't do it. But but here's the only thing in closing. We have done these rallies, and they were only done for one purpose: to put us in a position that we can be put in tomorrow to fix our country, because the rallies, otherwise, it's just nice entertainment.